The day Michael Carter walked out of prison, the world did not clap. No one waited with balloons. No one shouted his name. The prison gate opened with a loud metal scream. Michael stepped forward, holding a small plastic bag. Inside it were his papers, one gray shirt, and a pair of worn shoes. That was all the prison said his life was worth now. But the worst part was not what he carried in his hands. It was what he carried inside his head. Just 3 hours earlier, Michael had been standing in a small white room inside the prison. The room had no windows. The lights were too bright. A guard stood by the door. A man from the state slid a paper across the table. "Sign here," the man said. Michael looked at the paper. His name was on it. The words said he was free. They also said the state was not responsible for what happened to him inside. Michael's hands shook as he picked up the pen. Because the truth was this: Michael survived prison, but prison took everything else from him. He signed. Now he was outside. The air felt strange. Too big. Too open. Michael froze just past the gate. Cars moved fast on the road nearby. People talked. Laughed. A bird flew overhead, and the sound made him flinch. He dropped the bag. A guard shouted, "Keep moving." Michael bent down slowly and picked it up. His heart raced. Sweat rolled down his face, even though the day was cool. He had dreamed of this moment for 15 years. But now that it was here, he felt empty. Then it happened. Across the road, Michael saw a man yelling into a phone. The man raised his voice suddenly, angry, sharp. The sound hit Michael like a punch. In his mind, the prison came back. The shouting turned into screams. The road turned into a concrete hallway. The bird's shadow became bars. Michael dropped to his knees, covering his ears. "Stop," he whispered. "Please stop." Cars slowed. People stared. No one helped. And that was the moment the truth became clear. Michael Carter survived prison. But prison did not let him leave. And as he knelt there, shaking in the dirt outside the gate, he did not yet know that what he lost inside those walls could never be found again. The story of how that happened began many years earlier. Before the bars. Before the silence. Before the day prison broke him. Michael grew up in a small town in Ohio. It was the kind of place where everyone knew everyone. His mother worked 2 jobs. His father left when Michael was 6 and never came back. Michael was not a bad kid. He liked basketball. He liked comic books. He liked sitting on the roof at night, looking at the stars and dreaming about leaving town one day. But trouble lived close. When Michael was 16, his best friend, Jason, got mixed up with older guys. They had money, nice shoes, loud cars. They told stories about easy jobs and fast cash. Michael said no at first. Then his mom got sick. Hospital bills came fast. Letters piled up on the kitchen table. Michael watched his mother cry at night when she thought he was asleep. So when Jason said, "It's just one job," Michael listened. The job went bad. Very bad. A store alarm went off. Someone panicked. A gun appeared. Michael swore later he never touched it. But someone fired it. The clerk lived. But the law did not care. Michael was charged with armed robbery. At 17, Michael stood in court wearing a suit that did not fit. The judge looked tired. The words "adult sentence" echoed in the room. 15 years. Michael's mother screamed. Michael did not. He was numb already. Prison was louder than Michael expected. Doors slammed. Men shouted. Metal hit metal. Every sound meant something. Every look was a test. The first week, Michael learned the rules fast. Do not stare. Do not ask questions. Do not show fear. He failed the 3rd rule. One night, in the shower room, 3 older inmates cornered him. They smelled like sweat and soap and anger. Michael backed away until the wall touched his shoulders. They laughed. What happened next never left him. After that night, Michael stopped talking. He ate fast. He walked with his eyes down. He slept light, waking at every sound. Years passed, but prison did not get easier. It got quieter. Inside his head, Michael built walls. He locked away feelings. Hope became dangerous. Trust became impossible. He watched other inmates change. Some became mean. Some became empty. Some became ghosts who walked and breathed but were already gone. Michael told himself one thing every night. Just survive. And he did. He avoided gangs. He followed orders. He kept his head low. Guards called him easy. Other inmates called him invisible. But surviving came with a cost. Letters from home slowed, then stopped. His mother died 3 years before his release. Michael found out from a guard, not a family member. He did not cry. He had forgotten how. The last 5 years of his sentence were the worst. Prison rules got tighter. Lockdowns lasted longer. Sometimes Michael stayed in his cell for days. No touch. No sound. No sky. His thoughts grew loud. Memories twisted. Nightmares followed him even when he was awake. He started talking to himself just to hear a human voice. And then, suddenly, the day came. Release day. No warning. No help. Pack up, a guard said. That was it. Now Michael was outside, shaking by the road, unable to stand. A woman filming on her phone whispered, "What's wrong with him?" Michael did not hear her. He was thinking about the next step. Where do you go when prison is the only place that ever made sense? He slowly stood up. His legs felt weak. The world felt too loud, too fast, too real. He took one step forward. And that was when a black car pulled up across the street. The window rolled down, and a familiar voice said his name. Michael Carter. Michael froze. Because some things from prison were never supposed to follow him out. And whatever was sitting inside that car was one of them. Michael did not turn around at first. He stood still, his back stiff, his hands shaking at his sides. The voice had said his name the way prison voices always did. Slow, sharp, like it owned him. Michael Carter, the voice said again. Don't act like you don't hear me. Slowly, Michael turned. The black car sat by the curb, engine running. The window was halfway down. Inside sat a man with gray hair, deep lines on his face, and cold eyes that Michael knew too well. Officer Daniels. Daniels had been a corrections officer for years. Inside prison, he was known for two things. He smiled when inmates suffered, and he never forgot a face. You're out, Daniels said, looking Michael up and down. Hard to believe you made it. Michael swallowed. His throat felt dry. I'm free, Michael said quietly. Daniels laughed. Free, he repeated, like it was a joke. You really think that? People walked past. Cars drove by. No one noticed the quiet war happening on the sidewalk. What do you want? Michael asked. Daniels leaned closer to the window. Just wanted to see how you'd look on the outside. See if prison finished the job. Michael's chest tightened. His heart beat too fast. Leave me alone, Michael said. Daniels smiled wider. Relax. I'm off duty. Just giving you some advice. He tapped the door of the car. Out here, nobody cares what happened to you inside. Nobody's coming to save you. You mess up even once, you'll be right back where you belong. The words cut deep. Daniels rolled up the window and drove off. Michael stood there long after the car disappeared. That meeting followed him. Every step he took after that felt watched. Every loud sound made him jump. He finally made it to the bus stop, sat down, and hugged his plastic bag like it was a shield. The bus ride was quiet. Michael stared out the window, watching buildings pass by. Everything looked new, but wrong. Stores were bigger. People stared at glowing screens in their hands. Nothing felt familiar. He got off near a halfway house the state had listed on his papers. The building was old. Paint peeled from the walls. A sign on the door read, *** second chance living ***. Inside, it smelled like cleaning spray and old carpet. A tired woman behind a desk looked at his papers. Room 12, she said. Curfew at 9. No trouble. Michael nodded. Room 12 was small. A bed. A desk. A window that barely opened. But it had one thing prison never gave him. A door he could close himself. That night, Michael did not sleep. Every sound in the hallway made his muscles tense. When someone laughed down the hall, his heart raced. He sat on the bed with his shoes on, ready to stand at any moment. At 3 a.m., he finally lay down. And the nightmares came fast. He dreamed of cells closing, of lights that never turned off, of voices calling his name over and over until it meant nothing. He woke up screaming. The next weeks were worse. Michael tried to find work. Every place asked about his past. Every interview ended the same way. We'll call you. They never did. He tried to talk to people, but words felt heavy. Small talk confused him. Jokes went over his head. When someone stood too close, he stepped back without thinking. People noticed. You're weird, one man muttered at a bus stop. Michael wanted to explain. But how do you explain losing yourself piece by piece? The halfway house offered group meetings. Michael went once. Men sat in a circle. Some talked about drugs. Some talked about anger. When it was Michael's turn, he opened his mouth, and nothing came out. He stood up and left. One afternoon, Walking back from a job center, Michael saw a familiar face. Jason. Older. Thinner. But still Jason. Mike, Jason said, shocked. Man, I thought you died in there. Michael stared. His heart pounded. I almost did, Michael said. They sat on a bench. Jason talked fast, nervous. He said he felt guilty. He said he was sorry. He said prison ruined Michael's life. Michael listened quietly. Then Jason said something that changed everything. There's a way to make money, Jason said. Easy. No trouble. Michael stood up. No, he said firmly. I won't go back. Jason sighed. Suit yourself. As Michael walked away, his phone buzzed. A number he did not know. The message was short. ***, we know where you are. ***. Michael stopped walking. His hands shook as another message came in. ***, some things that happened inside were never meant to be known. ***. His chest felt tight. His breathing grew fast. Memories flooded back. Whispers in cells. Late-night movements. Things he saw that he was never supposed to see. Things that involved guards, including Officer Daniels. Michael realized then the truth. Prison wasn't done with him, and surviving prison might cost him more than he had left to lose. He looked up and saw the black car parked at the corner again. Engine running. Waiting. Michael stood frozen on the sidewalk. The black car did not move. The engine hummed softly, like it was breathing. People walked past him, laughing, talking, living their normal lives. No one looked at the car. No one looked at Michael. He felt invisible again. Slowly, he turned and walked the other way. He did not run. Running inside prison always made things worse. Running made guards chase. Running made you look guilty. So he walked. 1 block. Then another. When he looked back, the car followed. Not close. Not far. Just enough to remind him it was there. Michael's hands were shaking by the time he reached the halfway house. He went inside fast and locked his door. He sat on the bed, breathing hard. You're out, he whispered to himself. You're free. But his body did not believe it. That night, the phone buzzed again. Don't forget what you saw. Michael stared at the screen. Inside his head, doors slammed shut. He remembered the storage hallway deep inside the prison. The place cameras never reached. The place guards said was off limits. He remembered being sent there to clean. He remembered hearing voices. Guards' voices. He remembered the bags. Heavy black bags. And the smell. His stomach turned. Michael threw the phone across the room. The next morning, he skipped breakfast and left early. He needed air. Space. Something that didn't feel like walls closing in. He walked for hours. Finally, he found a small park. Kids played. Parents watched. A dog barked happily. Michael sat on a bench and tried to breathe like the counselor once told him. In. Out. In. Out. For a moment, it worked. Then someone sat beside him. Rough morning. Michael jumped to his feet. The man was young. Clean clothes. Kind eyes. Sorry, the man said. Didn't mean to scare you. Name's Tom. I work with a reentry program. Michael hesitated. I help guys fresh out, Tom continued. Jobs. Therapy. Legal help. You look like you could use it. Michael wanted to say no, but something inside him cracked. They talked. Tom listened. For the first time since release, Michael spoke without fear. Not everything. Not the worst parts. But enough. Tom nodded slowly. What you're describing sounds like trauma, he said gently. And fear. Real fear. Michael laughed softly. Fear doesn't stop when the gate opens. Tom gave him a card. If someone is threatening you, we can help. Lawyers. Protection. Michael stared at the card. Hope scared him more than fear. That evening, Michael went back to his room and locked the door. He pulled the card from his pocket again and again. At midnight, the phone buzzed. You talk too much. His heart slammed against his ribs. Another message followed. You remember the hallway. Then another. Tom shouldn't get involved. Michael dropped the phone. They were watching him. Watching everyone near him. The next day, the halfway house manager called him into the office. There's been complaints, she said. You look nervous. You scare other residents. Michael opened his mouth to speak. She raised a hand. You have one more chance. Outside, the black car waited again. But this time, the door opened. Officer Daniels stepped out. You should have stayed quiet, Daniels said calmly. Now things are messy. I didn't do anything, Michael whispered. Daniels stepped closer. You saw things that could destroy people. Important people. Michael backed away. Daniels smiled. You survived prison. Congrats. But survival has a price. A loud horn blasted nearby. Daniels stepped back into the car. As it drove off, Michael's phone buzzed one last time that night. Tom had an accident. Michael's knees gave out. He fell to the ground, staring at the screen, realizing the truth at last. Escaping prison didn't mean escaping its power. And now, to survive, Michael would have to decide whether to stay silent or expose what was never meant to be known. Michael did not sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Tom's face. Tom smiling on the park bench. Tom listening. Tom saying, "We can help." Had an accident. Those words kept spinning in his head. In the morning, Michael turned on the news with shaking hands. A short story played near the end. Local non-profit worker injured in a hit-and-run last night. Police say the driver fled the scene. The victim is in critical condition. They showed a photo. It was Tom. Michael shut the TV off and slid down the wall. This was his fault. Inside prison, you learn one rule fast: silence keeps you alive. And he had broken it. He didn't leave his room for 2 days. The halfway house manager knocked once. He didn't answer. She knocked again. Still nothing. On the third day, the knocking was harder. "Michael," a woman's voice said. "Police." His heart nearly stopped. Slowly, he opened the door. A woman stood there. Mid-30s. Plain clothes. Badge clipped to her belt. "Detective Rachel Miller," she said. "We need to talk." Michael almost shut the door again, but something in her eyes stopped him. She looked tired. Serious. Not angry. They sat at the small table. "You knew Tom," she said. Michael nodded. "You were the last person seen with him before the accident." Michael's mouth went dry. "I didn't hurt him," he said quickly. "I know," she said. "That's not why I'm here." She leaned forward. Tom had a secure drive in his pocket. It was smashed, but not empty. Michael's hands began to shake. "There were notes," she continued. "About you. About a federal prison. About missing records." Michael stared at the floor. "He was helping you, wasn't he?" she asked. Michael swallowed, then nodded again. Detective Miller lowered her voice. "You're not the first former inmate to show up in those notes. Some of the others disappeared." That word hit harder than any punch. Disappeared. "They were released," she said, "but never really came back to life. No jobs. No families. Some ended up dead. Some vanished." Michael thought of the hallway. The black bags. The smell. "They erase people," Michael whispered before he could stop himself. Detective Miller went still. "Erase?" He covered his mouth. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then she said, "Whatever you saw, Michael, I need you to tell me." Fear flooded his body. The guards. Daniels. The messages. The car. "They'll kill me," Michael said. "They already tried," she replied quietly. "And they hurt Tom to reach you." Michael closed his eyes. He began to speak. He told her about cleaning duty, about the hallway with no cameras, about hearing arguments between guards, about names being crossed off lists. "They said some inmates were too damaged to release," Michael said. "They said letting them out would bring lawsuits." Attention. Detective Miller's face hardened. "What happened to them?" she asked. Michael's voice shook. "They went into the hallway. They never came back." "No bodies," she pressed. "Just bags," Michael said. "And paperwork that disappeared." Silence filled the room. Finally, Detective Miller stood up. "You just stepped into something very big." Michael laughed weakly. "I never left it." She gave him a number. "You're under unofficial protection now. Don't go anywhere alone. If they contact you again, call me." After she left, Michael felt both lighter and more afraid than ever. That night, the power went out. The room went dark. His phone lit up. Last warning. Footsteps sounded in the hallway outside his door. Slow. Steady. A key slid into the lock. And Michael realized. The prison had finally followed him all the way home. The lock turned. Michael stood frozen in the dark. His heart beat so loud he thought they could hear it. The door opened just a little. "Michael," a man whispered. It was not a guard. It was Tom. Or someone who looked like him. The hallway light flickered, showing his face. Bruised. Pale. Eyes tired but alive. "Tom," Michael breathed. Tom stepped inside and shut the door fast. "Don't turn on the lights," Tom said. "They are watching the power lines." Michael's legs almost gave out. They said you were dying. Tom gave a weak smile. They wanted you to think that. Who? Michael asked. The same people you saw in that hallway, Tom said. They sat on the floor in the dark. Tom explained everything in simple words. After Michael left prison, Tom had found records that didn't match. Release dates with no exit logs. Medical files with blank pages. Names removed from databases. They don't just punish people inside, Tom said. They clean up after. Tom leaned closer. Some inmates are marked. Not for death. For erasing. Michael swallowed. Like me. Tom nodded. When you talk, when you remember too much, they move, Tom said. That hit and run wasn't meant to kill me. It was a warning. Michael's hands shook. Why come here? Because Detective Miller isn't safe, Tom said. Michael's head snapped up. What? She's been flagged, Tom said. I saw her name added to the same system. Fear spread through Michael's chest. We have proof, Tom said. Real proof. Videos. Internal emails. But it's not online. Where is it? Michael asked. Tom pointed to his chest. Here. And in one place they don't expect. Before Michael could ask, headlights flashed through the window. A black van stopped outside. Tom's face went tight. They found me. Boots hit the ground. Voices. Keys. Michael backed away. What do we do? Tom grabbed his arm. We don't run. We survive. The door exploded inward. Men in dark jackets rushed in. No badges. No names. One of them raised a gun. And Tom shouted, now. The wall behind them burst open, revealing a hidden door Michael had never seen before. And as alarms began screaming outside, Michael understood the truth. Escaping prison was never the end. It was only the next test. The hidden door slammed shut behind them. Darkness swallowed Michael and Tom. The sounds outside went wild. Shouting, boots, metal crashing into walls. Someone yelled orders. Another voice screamed in anger. Tom moved fast, even with his injuries. This way, he whispered. Michael followed, his hands touching cold concrete. The tunnel was narrow and low. Water dripped from above. The air smelled old and wet. How did you know this was here? Michael asked, trying to keep his voice steady. I helped build parts of this prison years ago, Tom said. They use old tunnels. They think no one remembers. Behind them, the door shook. Bang. Bang. They were trying to break in. Tom stopped at a rusted ladder. Down, he said. Michael climbed first. His shoes slipped, but he didn't stop. Fear pushed him forward. They reached the bottom. The tunnel opened into a wider room. Lights flickered on by themselves. Michael froze. The room was filled with screens. Dozens of them. Each screen showed a prison cell. Some empty. Some not. On one screen, a man sat rocking back and forth, whispering to himself. On another, a woman stared at the wall, eyes wide, unmoving. Names appeared under each screen. Most had one word beside them. Released. Michael's chest tightened. They said these people were free. Tom shook his head. They were erased. Michael stepped closer to a screen. He saw his own face. Older. Thinner. Labeled. Subject M. Carter. Status. Unstable. His knees buckled. They never planned to let us live normal lives, Michael said. No, Tom replied. They let bodies leave. Not minds. A loud alarm blared. Red lights flooded the room. We triggered something, Tom said. They know we're here. A screen changed. A woman appeared. Detective Miller. She was sitting in a chair, hands cuffed, blood on her lip. Michael shouted. No, no, no. The woman on the screen looked up, as if she could hear him. A man's voice filled the room through speakers. Calm. Cold. Michael Carter, the voice said. You survived longer than expected. Tom clenched his fists. That's him. You were released, the voice continued. But you failed to forget. The screen zoomed closer to Detective Miller's face. You have one choice, the voice said. Come back quietly, or watch everyone who helped you disappear. Michael felt something break inside him. He looked at Tom, then back at the screen. And for the first time since prison, Michael spoke without fear. I'm done being erased. The lights went out. The screens went black. And somewhere deep inside the prison, a door locked forever. The emergency lights came back on, weak and red. The room felt smaller now. Michael's heart was still racing. His words echoed in his head. I'm done being erased. Tom grabbed his arm. Once you say that, there's no going back. Michael nodded. I know. Footsteps thundered above them. Heavy boots. Many of them. They are sealing the tunnels, Tom said. They don't want this place found. A metal gate began to slide down at the far end of the room. Screech. If it closed, they would be trapped. Run, Tom said. They sprinted. Sirens wailed. Red lights flashed faster. The screens flickered back on, showing chaos across the prison. Guards running. Doors slamming. Inmates screaming. Michael tripped but caught himself. Just before the gate hit the floor, Tom dove and rolled under it. Michael followed, sliding hard on his side. The gate slammed shut behind them. Silence. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then Tom laughed, a short, broken sound. Still alive. The tunnel ahead curved downward. A single bulb glowed at the end. They followed it and reached a small room with a metal table and dusty chairs. On the table sat a folder. No dust on it. Someone had been here recently. Michael opened it. Inside were files. Medical reports. Brain scans. Behavior charts. All labeled with one word at the top. Re-entry subjects. This is what happens after release, Michael said, his voice shaking. This is why people can't sleep. Why they forget their families. Tom picked up a photo. It showed a man standing outside a prison gate, smiling. The next photo showed the same man, weeks later, sitting in a blank white room, eyes empty. They don't fix people, Tom said. They test them. The door behind them clicked. Slow. Soft. Michael turned. Detective Miller stood there. Alive. But something was wrong. Her eyes were dull. She raised her gun, but her hand shook. They made me listen, she said. They said if I didn't stop you, they would erase my son. Michael froze. Miller, they are lying. She swallowed. I don't know what's real anymore. Alarms sounded again, closer this time. Tom whispered, we don't have much time. Michael stepped forward, hands up. You came here to find the truth, he said. You found it. Don't let them take it from you. Miller's gun lowered an inch. Then a voice spoke from a speaker above them. Detective Miller, the calm voice said, step aside. Her face twisted in pain. She screamed and dropped to her knees, clutching her head. Blood ran from her nose. Michael ran to her. Tom shouted, they are doing it to her. Miller looked up at Michael, eyes wide with fear. If you leave, she whispered, promise me, tell the world. The walls began to shake. The ceiling cracked. And somewhere above them, the prison started to collapse.